Am I wrong for refusing to let my husband name our daughter after his late wife? I'm 29 and 35 weeks pregnant with our first child. My husband is 36 and was previously married. His first wife passed away 8 years ago. I've always been respectful of her memory. There are photos of her in our house, and we've talked about her openly. I've never tried to erase or act like their history didn't exist. When we found out we were having a girl, we both made a list of names we liked. He didn't say anything at first, but after a few weeks he told me he really wanted me to name her after his late wife. He said it would be a way to honor her and keep her memory alive through our daughter. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that. I said I wanted our daughter to have her own name, one that reflects both of us and the family we're building together, not something tied to a relationship I wasn't part of. He looked disappointed but said he understood. A few days later, he brought it up again. This time, he had told his mom, and she messaged me saying how beautiful it would be and how I would consider it an act of love. Now his sister is involved too. She said it would mean so much to the whole family if he used that name. I still said no. I told him again that while I respect his grief, I don't want to feel like I'm raising someone else's legacy. I want this child to be celebrated for who she is, not tied to someone she never knew. He hasn't pushed again since, but he's been cold, quiet. I know he's hurt. I do love him, and I know he still carries that loss with him. But I also feel like I have the right to want my own first child to have her own identity. I'm not trying to erase anyone. I just want to be seen too. Now I'm getting messages from his family saying I'm being insecure and jealous of someone who isn't even here anymore. My own mom says she understands my side, but wonders if this is the hill I want to die on. I feel like I'm already grieving the peace I thought this time would bring, and now I don't know if I'm holding my ground or being unfair. Am I wrong for refusing to name our daughter after my husband's late wife? I mean, call me crazy, but if OP's husband brought up the idea, mentioned the idea of, let's name our first daughter after my late wife. I loved her and she was part of my life for X, Y, and Z, and I would like to, honor her by naming her our first daughter. And OP was to say, yeah, that's okay. That would have been okay. And if OP said, oh, no, I don't want that. I want my own child, my first child, to have her own identity, that's also perfectly okay. I don't understand why they're pushing her down her throat to name her first child after her husband's late wife. Like, that literally makes no sense. If someone says they don't want to do something and it's reasonable, then they don't want to do it. Top comment. I suggest you find a family therapist to work this through with your husband. A child deserves their own name, not the name of his deceased previous wife, and you deserve respect and value in your own right. And I say all this as a widow. Exactly. OP replied to that comment saying, that really means a lot. I'm trying to be gentle with his grief, but I'm starting to realize I need to take care of myself too. Therapy might honestly be the next step. And someone else said, no, and mother-in-law has no say in that matter either. Naming a kid is a mutual agreement between the two parents only. OP replied saying, I was shocked that she even got involved. This should be something between the two of us, and the pressure from his family has only made it harder to talk about it calmly. Am I wrong for telling my best friend he can't bring his wife to my wedding? I, 29 male, attended my best friend's Josh, 29 male, wedding a few years ago as the best man and was denied a plus one even though I had a girlfriend, Stacy, 28 female. When Josh and his now wife, Amber, 30 female, originally got engaged, they invited me to their wedding, and even though I was single, I was given a plus one. A few months after being invited, I told Josh I started dating Stacy and would be bringing her. Now for background, I have known Stacy for about 8 years, and we dated for a few months back in college. I originally met Stacy through Josh since she was a friend of Josh's ex-girlfriend. But when Josh and his ex broke up, the ex made Stacy decide between dating me or staying friends with her. She was a very toxic person. Stacy chose to keep dating me, and after all these years has not talked to or been friends with the ex. However, me and Stacy ended up breaking up in college due to her transferring to a new college, and neither of us went in a long-distance relationship. Once Amber found out I started dating Stacy, she had talked with Josh, which ended with Amber telling Josh I wasn't allowed to bring Stacy since she used to be friends with Josh's ex. When Josh broke the news to me, he told me Amber had the final decision and she doesn't want Stacy at the wedding. And to add insult, Josh told me I still had a plus one still, just can't be Stacy. Josh told me he didn't agree with Amber, but he didn't want to fight with her. After this conversation, I didn't mention anything to Stacy. Stacy knew the wedding was coming and would occasionally ask me if she was invited. I told her I wasn't sure if I had a plus one and kept pushing it off, We still had about 8 months until their wedding, so I was hoping going on double dates and hanging out with the four of us would warm Amber up to Stacy and change her mind. This didn't work. Amber never changed her mind. The wedding came around, which was also on Stacy's birthday, and I reluctantly attended solo as the best man. I told Stacy everything, which really pissed her off. She was not upset with me and understood why I still wanted to attend the wedding, but she still hasn't forgiven Amber. Fast forward to now, Stacy and I are engaged. The roles are reversed and Stacy's okay with Josh attending, but doesn't want Amber near our wedding. Both Stacy's family and my family all know about Stacy not being invited to Josh and Amber's wedding and why. It's left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and neither of our families want Amber to attend. I'm not one for drama. I really wish everyone got along, especially since Josh has been my best friend since we were kids. But I'm standing by Stacy and Amber will not be invited. Am I the a-hole? I don't understand why Stacy, OP's girlfriend, now soon to be wife, wasn't invited to the wedding to begin with, because it's not like she was Josh's ex. She was just a friend of Josh's ex, and she's not even friends with her anymore. And that's the gag of it all. And the thing is, people are so entitled? Why would you want someone to come? Why would you want to come to someone's wedding when you didn't want them to come to your wedding? Because the reason why Josh's wife didn't want OP's girlfriend coming to the wedding is because she was a friend of Josh's ex. She's still an ex-friend of Josh's ex. Like, doesn't really matter what occasion this is, and it doesn't really matter what setting this is. She still is what she is. Josh's ex's ex-friend. Like, that literally makes no sense. People are so entitled. Top comment. Not the a-hole. Fair is fair. If Josh's now wife had the final decision in who got to attend their wedding when they were in the process of planning their wedding, then it's only fair that your future wife gets to have the final say in who attends your wedding. Plus, like someone else said in the comments, if Josh's wife dislikes Stacy so much it's because she used to be friends with Josh's ex-girlfriend, then she probably won't want to attend your wedding anyway. Exactly. On to the next story. I'm around for deciding to live with my dad full-time because I don't want to help with a bunch of kids at my mom's house. My parents got divorced when my older sister died 8 years ago. I, 16 male, struggled with it because one day my sister was gone and then so was my family. Mom moved out and she and my dad fought. Mom wanted me with her dad. Dad felt I should spend time with both. When they went to court, my parents were given the same custody time with me, and I always had a week with each of them at the time. 5 years ago, my mom remarried. Tom's the guy she married, and Tom had 2 kids under 4 when they met. Him and my mom had 2 more kids together. It was pretty chaotic, and my mom and Tom pushed for me to be a helper with the kids and to choose to be their big brother. Mom told me to take care of them like my sister took care of me, and she was always correcting me for saying half-siblings or step-sibling. We had lots of fights about it. I love my mom a lot, but I think we had different ways of coping with my sister's death. She wanted to move forward with Tom and the kids being our family the same as Dad and my sister were. She hated that I didn't call Tom Dad. She hated when I'd go for Dad's parenting time. She tried to get sole custody of me a few times. I couldn't ever see my step-family the same. They could never take the same place for me. I was never going to call someone else Dad either or stop being Dad's kids because she wanted me to pretend with Tom. I think I never got beyond accepting that they were there and tolerating the fact that Mom's family had moved on and that I had half-sibling and step-siblings. I never really bonded with them, but I was kind and I didn't take my issues out on them. Tom's ex died in February, and my mom and Tom decided to take in her other kids, who are similar ages to my half-siblings. Because of all the changes, it meant I was supposed to share with 3 other kids. My mom wanted me to really step up and help and be a good older brother and role model. She said the new boy would need me the most, and I need to take him under my wing. My mom and Tom told me I need to help out with the kids more too, like walk them to school, help with homework, walk them after school clubs, and stuff like that. I was also supposed to babysit because a babysitter would be out of their budget. It was always more than I wanted to do, so I asked Dad if I could live with him, and he said yes. My dad's lawyer said it was fine because the court order already covered me getting to choose once I was 16, and how calls would be all that would be needed to not risk custody going to Mom if she fought through the courts. So I call my mom and accept calls from Mom twice a week. She's always so angry when we talk. She told me she was disappointed in me repeatedly and wanted to have a good reason why I was refusing to spend any time at her house. I told her I didn't want to help with the oldest kids. Mom corrected me and said my siblings, and I told her no. not my siblings. I told her we'd argued before about that and I didn't want to. She told me we argued because I won't let go and accept that fact that my family has changed, and she told me now I was being extra selfish and hurting the four siblings I always had and refusing to even try and be there for the three new ones. She told me my family comes together at times like these and I run away. She told me if she could love them all and move on from my sister's death, then so could I. It pissed me off and I ended the call and I redirected my conversation now to talk about other stuff. But my mom still makes it clear she doesn't like that I went from living with dad 2 weeks a month to 4 weeks a month. And she only gets calls and no visits, and the kids will grow up hardly knowing me. Am I the a-hole? I mean, I feel like the mom is not realizing that people grieve differently. If she found her way, if her way of grieving is getting married and having new kids and taking other people's kids that are dead, that doesn't mean that her 16-year-old teenage son is gonna feel the same way. She should consider, taking him to therapy and asking him about his feelings. And now all these children in the house. Plus, it's really noble and really nice of them, her and her husband, to take in that dead lady's kids. Because at the end of the day, children are always innocent, and if someone doesn't claim them, they're just gonna have to go to foster care system, and God knows how that is. But at the end of the day, how are you gonna take care of kids when you want your 16-year-old son to be the primary caretaker? That literally makes no sense. Top comment: your mother was paraphrasing you. You're a minor. You're not responsible for raising any of her children or stepchildren's half siblings. Not the a-hole. Live your own life. I'm sorry about the loss of your sister.